Hey everyone, I'm Chris,
And I'm Adam.
and welcome to the Gamers Hall. And today we are going to be talking about Session Zero.
Yeah, this is a topic that a lot of people out there on YouTube have put on their channels. It's something that Wizards talks about wanting them to do. It wants everybody to do this Session Zero. And we want to talk about how important Session Zero is to a campaign and how it will make the campaign more healthy when you actually start. And we want to go over a couple steps and also how to make it feel better when playing and not such a boring menial task.
There's a lot of people that don't do Session Zeros. They just kind of jump in and just let it all happen. But I think when you have a Session Zero, things tend to go out better than not.
Yeah. And we're taking this more from a viewpoint of how to make the role play better for the campaign going forward. Hopefully when we're done, you'll have a sense of what important things you need to look for, what each character needs to do, and maybe give your playgroup some ideas of new things you can try out that may be more fun than your normal hack and slash.
Right, and obviously you're not going to need to do this for a one shot or a two shot. No. It's like an actual campaign 1 to 12th level or whatever.
Yeah, this is very important. So let's get into it.
All right, so one of the first things that you'll need to do in the Session Zero is define the setting and the campaign. What type of campaign is the DM and the players wanting to run? It needs to be something that you agree upon together as a group.
Yes, and this is very important that this is really figured out right now in Session Zero, where everybody will agree upon exactly what you're looking for and what you're wanting to do. Beforehand, you might have an idea of what it was before this.
Right.
But this is where everybody goes, okay, that's what we want to play. And it's a couple important things you need to look at is, well, what setting? So now what world are we playing in? Are we going to play in a pre-built one like Eberron or Ravnica? Are we going to play Forgotten Realms?
Are you doing a homebrew world? Right. That's information that the players need to know before they make their characters, because that might determine the type of character they're wanting to make and or play.
Also important to know where they will possibly be at and what information they will have about the area they're in. That way, they can also make more informed decisions about exactly what character they want to build. Because if, say, you're in Ravnica, do they know about different guild relations and how things work in Ravnica? Are they hip to that? Do they know?
Yeah, like what's some general information that the DM needs to tell the players about the setting before everything's all said and done?
And you don't want to make this over the top. Don't go over the top with this much information. Make it a very clear, concise. If you have to write it out, 1 to 2 paragraphs worth of information. And if you're one of those DMs that likes to prepare, have it ready. Say, hey, this is kind of what I want to go with. You guys read this, and they can go, oh yeah, that's cool. Or they can mark something off and say, no, I don't really want to deal with that. Can we do something different? And then maybe they can add to that sheet that maybe you pre-prepared and build a campaign note.
Or you can just give the players the information as needed for them building their characters.
Right. And the next important part is the style of campaign.
Right. Is it going to be a pirate campaign? Are you going to be doing a hunting campaign, assassin spy campaign, or just a straight up adventuring murder hobo campaign?
Yeah. Or could you be all about making a shop and becoming the best shopkeep in all the land, and then all your adventures deal with trying to build that shop? There's lots of things that need to be pegged down at this point, and the style is really what's going to push every character creation, because we all build towards the style of campaign we're wanting to do.
Yeah. You're not gonna make the cavalier fighter for a pirate campaign. It's not going to happen.
You're most likely not going to make a wind-based sorcerer for an Underdark campaign. You might, but you're probably not. There's certain things that will not fit a style and will feel out of place. Like a human in a monster campaign. that doesn't fit. If everybody's playing a monster and you're the only token human, sometimes that's a little weird. Might be fun to do.
It could be fun to do, but there's some explanation that needs to go behind that.
Right. And that's where we want to go with it on next, is what will be allowed in the campaign.
Yes. So, what rules are you playing by? Are you doing any homebrew rules? Are you doing variant options? And also, what's not allowed? So, those things are going to be very important as well. Because, are you the type of DM that says, hey, drinking a potion is a bonus action? Unless that potion has drinking healing potions are bonus actions, but drinking any other potion, like a potion of speed, now that's an action. Mm-hmm. Or you could just say all potions are.
You could. Or, you have also the variant rules, like, are feats allowed? Mm-hmm. Do we want them in or not? Do we want critical damage?
Right.
Or any other basic rule set that's already in?
Yeah. Are we doing point by standard array, or are we rolling for stats?
That's right. So, how many magic items are going to be allowed in this? Are we going to allow you to have the normal 3 magic items that you can attune to? Are we going to even make it to where even the magic items that you normally don't have to attune to, you can only wear so many? Or are you going to just allow all of it? Like, it doesn't matter. Equip wherever you can equip. Yeah. If you can put one ring on each hand, you can wear boots, greaves, any part of your body, you can wear something on, it's allowed. Just one per slot.
Yeah. And then, what's some things that people might agree on. Like, I know some people will play and it's like, okay, feats are allowed, but nobody can get the lucky feat. Or, nobody can pick up a crossbow expert and sharpshooter.
Yeah. And this is the point where a lot of people will start having real feelings and ideas of how their character creation is going to go, because if you as the DM are saying, hey, I don't want these, and your players are saying, I do, well, you guys got to figure it out. You have to come to common ground. Maybe as a DM you need to relax a little bit on one of those and go, okay, how about this? You guys have to find a compromise, a middle ground.
Players, you got to compromise with the DMs as well on certain things. So it's definitely it's a contract that you're going to make together.
Yeah, and this is really going to allow for fun play, because once the rules are established, then everybody knows how the world works. Everybody knows what you're going to be in, what you're going to do. This is the foundation everybody needs to build the rest of the campaign. And once these are done, you never have to talk about it again. Because if everybody knows and everybody's agreed upon it, then for the rest of the campaign, that's done. That all the hard, crappy work is out of the way, and now everybody gets to have fun building and playing their character, and the DM knows that the players aren't going to step on his creation, her creation, by saying, okay, you knew the rules, right? So you knew you're not allowed to have 7 magical items. So figure out which ones you're going to attune to, and then be done with it. I'm not going to give you any more. And then we'll go, okay, yeah, you're right.
Right. Or if your players don't want certain things in the campaigns. Mm-hmm. If a certain person doesn't like clowns, okay, so we're not going to have any clowns. No weird half baby, half monsters. Okay, no, scratch that. We're not going to do that. Oh, you don't want horror in the campaign. Okay, no horror. Okay, establish what the characters absolutely don't want to see and what they're looking for. Yeah. Is this, did somebody make a spy type character and is like, listen, I don't care, I'm going to be the rogue in the party, but at least once I want there to be one spy mission.
Yes. That is something also need to be said upon is, expectations of what everybody's looking for and what everybody wants to do. So before you start creating your characters, every person needs to go, this is my expectation. I know what I'm working with. I know what I'm doing. I know the rules. This is what I expect.
Right.
And that everybody should have that statement. You should stop and go, hey, everybody, wait, no talking. Chris, what is your expectation for this campaign? What are you expecting to do? Let him say, and then go around the table. And even the DM needs to say, this is my expectation. This is what I want to do with what we're coming up with. And once those expectations are all set, everybody kind of understands, oh, okay, that's what you want to do? Cool. Now it's time to create your characters.
Yeah. Or do you just want a complete and open sandbox where anything can happen and that's what it's going to be? So, like, here, make your characters and we'll just go with whatever the DM throws at us. Or, the DM has to be, if that's what everybody agreed to, then the DM also has to be okay with saying, hey, I planned for this, but guess what? The players took a left turn, and I was so hoping they went right, and you're just going to have to roll with it, because that's what you agreed to.
That's right. So setting these expectations is very important.
Yeah. Plus, not to mention, when the players take left turns, sometimes that's when the best things happen in the campaign.
That's true.
So don't be afraid to go with the flow and see what happens.
Yeah. Improv it a little bit. It'll be fun.
That's the word I was looking for. Improv. My God.
So now we're going to get to character creation.
Yes.
Character creation is very important for the campaign as a whole. Because we've already stated that some characters won't fit in certain things. So
yeah, and also, like, if somebody was planning on making an evil character and they're not going to mix well with a bunch of do-gooders, like, oh, we got, some paladins and monks in the party, like, what am I going to do with this crazy evil assassin rogue? Or maybe that person does fit in the party and is doing something later, but that's different.
Because at this point, and why it's important for everybody to make their character session 0, is to where everybody sees what everybody else is making. So in real time, you can all kind of tweak your character in a way that would also mesh with the group.
Right, because you don't want to come to the table and it's like, when players have expectations of what they're making before session 0... and they've already got everything planned out, and they've already created their character, and they're like, this is what I'm playing. And it's like, oh, and it's like, well, this is what we agreed to, and this is what it is. Or what happens when everybody's wanting the same character? It's like, we got 5 warlocks. What are we going to do? Could be fun, but at the same time, some people
skew really hard in one direction.
Yeah, some people don't want to play what everybody else is playing.
But don't be afraid of things like that. That's not necessarily bad. Like the 5 warlocks, you could all now be a coven of warlocks and go, okay, how are we going to play this? We're 5 warlocks playing in Forgotten Realms during the time of troubles. What does that mean? How are we going to work with that? And now your group is going to make a cohesive coven that will actually benefit and work with each other, instead of outside they all 5 made warlocks that will never mesh with each other, all Eldritch Blast cannons. And yeah, if anything is 300 feet away, they're going to blow it up. But they have nothing to do when anything gets closer. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But that way they'll all go, okay, you're going to be the cannon. I'm going to do the close range stuff, or I'm going to do the mine stuff. That way I can affect them and I can get us in and out of places and set you guys up.
Yeah, like they could all have the same patron but different packs.
Right. Or you could follow like maybe the devils. Like you have the tiers of devils, and then the one that has the pact with Asmodeus is at the top. While the pact of Leviticus, the pact of Zariel, the different devils, like you said, well, I'm better than you. I'm the leader. I have the pact with Asmodeus. Mm-hmm. That creates a whole nother dynamic that you all can agree upon, and it all plays immediately into the setting and what you're trying to do, and it gives you background personality traits effectively. And hopes and bonds, and you could do that with clerics and paladins.
You could do it with a lot of things, because a lot of times when you're at the table and you're creating certain things, that's when a lot of some of the best tie-ins are going to come, because before the game even starts, do your characters know each other?
Yeah.
How do they know each other? What happened? And it's like, okay, well, we're brothers. We're a couple. We're dwarves, and we're from the Frostbeard clan. Yep. And even though I'm the wizard, he's the barbarian. But that's how we know each other. Or even if you don't, like, you're not siblings, it's like, okay, well, I'm a dwarf. He's an elf. We're tied together because we were both out in the forest one day, and he helped me kill an owlbear.
Yeah. And also for the DM can take this and go, okay, you guys are playing. There's 2 rangers in the party. There's a barbarian, and then there's a fighter, and then you have a cleric, a nature cleric. Well, do you guys realize that in this area that the Dragon Mark House in Eberron looks for those type of people and needs them? What would you guys think about being part of a Dragon Mark House, and then we playing from that point of view? So you have a patron, you have somebody to back you. Would you guys be okay with that? And then, because now the DM has ideas. Oh, these characters fit in this. They're plugging in holes for you to go, cool.
Yeah, and now the DM knows where to place them and start the campaign.
Also, where to go with the campaign as well. Because now you know that if you have that thief that really wants to do some type of espionage or thieving activity, you'll go, all right. So we're gonna start out here, but I need to get them to a bigger city so I can let them do a heist. So I need to lead them in this direction, and this is happening all in character creation, which is probably going to take the longest time of session 0 is actual character creation.
Right.
Unless everybody's just like, got it, know exactly what I'm gonna do. You know what you all click and you can roll it, do it, and be done with it very quickly. But most people are gonna take time, and you should. Everybody should take time during this part to really ask the other player and other players at the table and DM how these things are going to fit, how these things are going to work, and then be open to the fact that, hey, man, that's not going to work. You don't do that, please. And then, okay, I'm not going to make a evil paladin. All right, I want to be an evil paladin. I'm not going to make an evil paladin because it's just not going to fit. And nobody else wants to do it. But can I be evil? Sure, just not a paladin. Like, okay, all right. Evil fighter, I'll still do some of the same stuff, but we don't want to get into evil religion. It's things like that. Be able to back off a little bit on your ideas and come to a compromise.
Yeah, and then, noting on that goes into the next part of what we need to talk about, and that's that the DM and the players all need to take notes of each other. And what the character concept is, what players' expectations are, what they're wanting, and learn how to flow with it. And understand that it's going to come up, and like this is why, and hopefully that's not going to be a problem.
And I am the world's worst person at notes. I don't take notes. I try to remember everything mentally, which is not necessarily a great thing all the time.
I'm the note taker.
He's the note taker of our group. I'm not. I just know things and I run with it. I improv it. But in this instance, if this is the only notes you take for the whole campaign, these are the most important notes you'll ever take. Because you need 2 to 4 very general, easy notes per player of like, hey, you want to be a pirate captain, you're going to be an evil person. Simple notes that allow another player to go, that's the idea. And as a DM, you want to be able to write down notes about like, okay, thief wants a heist, heart of gold. Just descriptors of what they are that encompass everything you've talked about through this whole session 0. And it could be as blatant what they say. Like maybe you write down what you think they're talking about, but it could be as simple as asking the player, hey, give me 2 major descriptors of what your character is going to do, and write those down.
Yeah, or maybe your players just always wanted to do something in a campaign that they have never experienced. Like, okay,
I want to kill a dragon.
Yeah, I want to go into a dungeon and kill a actual dragon, because this is called Dungeons and Dragons, and we've played for how many years, and we've never been to a dungeon and actually fought a dragon.
Yeah.
So, like, can that just happen once? Or, can I have a heist? Can I have a moment where it's literally us against 100 goblins?
Yeah. I want that epic moment of fight. Those are important things that need to be laid down. And everybody needs to kind of write. Even the players need to write stuff down. It's like, oh, Chris wants to do the heist. Okay. So, at some point, if I'm playing the goody-goody, 2 shoes, lawful good paladin, I need to at one point back off and just go away at some point. So when that player's leading up, or when the DM's leading up to, hey, we need to get something. Maybe that paladin wants to be goody-goody goes, hey, you know there's some like trouble over here that the magistrate needs to deal with? I'm going to go deal with that while you go do your thing. Also gives opportunities later in the campaign for players to go do little side missions on their own for fun. And that way you're not surprised during the campaign when somebody goes, hey, I want to go steal something. And then everybody goes, oh, God, that means you're going to go off by yourself and then you're going to die. It's like, no, we all knew this was coming. So we're all prepared for it. And we know that at this time, Chris and Aaron and Kurt are going to go do a heist. Okay, cool. Well, Gustavo and Mary, you guys go hang out for a little bit. Go get us some food or something because they're going to do their thing. In 30 minutes, they'll be done. You know, it allows later on timing to be set up. So these little notes are not just to help character creation. They're literally to help notes or help the campaign roll at a good progression, not get these weird stops and these hurt feelings when things pop up and everybody's like, oh God, I don't want to deal with that.
Or, I mean, sometimes the fun in that could just be the fact that how is the rogue going to talk the paladin into doing the heist? It's like, listen, I get it, you're a goody two-shoes, but let me explain to you that I'm stealing from an evil person, and this is for the better of the people because of what we're going to do with it, what we need to use it for. Like, are they Robin Hooding this guy? Or is this one of those, you know, sorry, we got to sacrifice this one little thing to make a compromise for the many?
Yeah. And then that's the chance that paladin would go, all right, well, I'm not comfortable with what you're doing. So if you don't kill anybody, there's no murder, and you go after this one thing, then I'll support you. But if you do anything other than that, I will turn you in myself. And now you have a whole heist based around a very specific goal that you have a paladin that's, I don't want to do this, but is going to compromise their principles for the greater good. And a thief that, man, he would love to slit the throat of this guard right now and make things so much easier if he was just dead. Now he's got to get around that. Now the DM has a whole slew of things to play with and obstacles that have nothing to do with fights. Nothing, just pure role play and setup that from just an earlier mention of, hey, I want to do a heist. In session 0 has played out.
Yeah. Or here's another good thing that could come of that. If you have the goody two-shoes paladin, it's like, listen, I don't steal. I have a vow. I'm not going to help anybody steal. Okay, well, that character goes off and does something else. Now that person has the opportunity, hey, make a one-shot character. This is the character that's going to come in, help the rogue do this, and when it's done, that character goes off to the side, and then the paladin comes back and it's like, hey, where'd you guys get this? We made a deal with somebody, blah, 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 you know.
Pull an NPC.
Yeah.
Hey, you know you've got this fence that's been helping you the whole time, and the DM can go, hey, look, this is the fence's stats right here. Play him to help. You don't want to go do that. Here, take this character right here. And now the player has the ability to build upon what an NPC's personality and traits and what they will do, aside from what the DM would do. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Or let the players play one of the villains. Or one of the NPCs, the bad guys that they're going to come across. So it takes a little relief off the DM, and it's like, hey, listen, I need you to play this character this way. Here are a few things. Whatever else you do is okay.
Yeah. And that could also influence how the villain will come across on different ways, and you know, maybe he stops being the villain at one point and becomes part of the hero's group. You know, you could work things out. But remember, all this is coming from session 0. All these role play things we're talking about comes from session 0 and a few notes taken. And also just agreed upon sets of rules, setting. This is all solidified in 1 2 to 4 hour session of just this. Yeah. Just this.
Yeah, like, at session 0, you might play an hour at the end of it, or your whole session might be just the session 0.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yes,
that's totally fine. Let that be the case. Let this be session 0 is itself.
Right.
It doesn't have anything. It doesn't start the campaign right away. You might do like, okay, now you're in the tavern if that's where you want to start.
Right.
But it's important because if this is all just this thing and you're not going to start the true campaign until next week, now you know where to start from. Right. You don't have to start in an inn where everybody doesn't know each other. You could literally say, okay, they already know each other. We get to start on a cart driving to Westvale.
Right.
Or you guys are already in the middle of a battle. Roll initiative because you all know where you started from. You all know what's going to happen. You know what you're doing. You know where you're at. So there's no build up. There's no surprise. There's no figuring it out. It's just right into the story. Let's go.
Yeah, and I mean that's mostly going to be on the DM, but that all happens at session 0.
All happens at session 0.
And well, one thing that we forgot to cover in the rules section is the DM and the players need to come to a decision on how PvP works.
Yeah, that's a very important part, and I'm kind of glad we saved it to the end because this is or didn't remember and got to it at the end. This is an important thing for all groups to deal with because there are some players that absolutely hate killing other players. They hate it in the game. They will not stand for it. And then there's some players that are completely okay with it and have no problem doing it whenever
the situation arises.
And that also falls to spells like Charm Person. How does that affect a player? Do you let them play through the fact they failed the charm? Or if I'm sending telepathic messages to another player and not allowing the other ones to know, should I only write notes or can I say it out loud?
Yeah, I mean,
because that's player to player interaction of how much do you allow your other friends to know what your one character is doing, and that plays into whether they're going to be okay with it or not, and whether they're going to want to kill you or not.
Yeah, I mean, Charm Person alone is, do you allow the players to charm other players is a huge deal, and because I mean that takes over. You're essentially stealing that player's will to a degree.
Yeah, they have the ability to make some stuff, but you're saying no, you have to act in this certain way towards me.
Yeah, but now another thing is do you allow it in certain situations and not allow it in certain situations where it's like, okay, I'm not going to allow it if you're trying to just do something heinous and really getting under a player's skin. This is one of those points where players sometimes back off and don't use the excuse that this is what my character would do. Because, I mean, sometimes it's just bad to do it. I mean, it also depends on how you're using Charm Person. If you're using Charm Person to convince your friend to do something they wouldn't normally do, like the character has a phobia of swimming, and you're using Charm Person to get them to swim through this tunnel because that's a part of the quest. They got to swim under an underwater tunnel to get to the next thing. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But using it to be like
I want you to kill that guard.
Yeah, I want you to kill that guard.
Dude, I don't want to kill that guard. I'm going to charm you to make you kill that guard if you don't say yes right now.
Yeah. All right. I need you to help me steal this item, and now you're going to help me, or you're going to help me do something you wouldn't normally morally do, and I'm going to Charm Person you to make you do it.
And maybe in the case that's fine for a lot of campaigns, but most of the time if a player is saying, "Hey, I don't want to do that," that's your time to back off. And these type of things need to be agreed upon at the very beginning.
Yep.
Do you allow this type of behavior in the campaign? Because that's going to completely change the whole dynamic of the campaign.
If PvP is allowed, then DM and players, you all that needs to be established session 0 at the beginning, because it can and will be a determining factor in the progression of the campaign.
Yes. If PvP is allowed, at some point somebody's going to get killed. It's going to happen unless they all play really careful. And that person needs to go, yeah, that's fine. I understand. Yeah, I can see why you did that and you killed me. I'll just make the next minion character and then we'll continue moving on. But nobody's feelings need to get hurt. This is going to hurt feelings, and it's going to kill a campaign when you kill a player if they don't agree upon it.
Yeah, I mean, but if you all agree to it in the beginning, then everybody understands it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's totally fine. And this is all about fun. All right? Remember, Session 0 is the foundation for fun. That's what it is. That's how you're going to... how everybody's going to understand what you're doing.
Right.
Simple as that. This is what that's for. And we hope that what we've talked about will help you. And we hope that it will make your campaigns better. And if you really like what we've been talking about, I need you to go ahead and subscribe. Hit that bell.
Also, like the video so that YouTube knows that you like our videos. They'll start showing up in your list, and also leave us some comments. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say about these topics, or if maybe that you disagree with some of the things we say.
Yeah. So, thanks guys. Thanks for watching, and keep rolling those nat zeros.
My favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have a dice that does it.
You do.
I don't. They don't make those.
I hate you.